So what's the Hidoes B6? That's coming right up. Welcome to RunPlayBack. This week we're riding the Hidoes B6, a moped-style fat tire e-bike with lots of power, but also lots of weight. Let's break down its features, weigh its pros and cons, and see if it's worth your hard-earned cash. So let's get to it.
First up, the B6 has a sleek minimalist design with a steel frame that separates it from typical moped-style e-bikes in its class. While the steel makes it very durable, it also creates a total bike weight of 111 pounds, which could be an issue while transporting. And since the B6 really does look more like a moped than a bike, riding this in the bike lanes will definitely make you stand out. With a top speed of over 30 miles per hour and powered by a beefy 1200-watt rear hub motor, it's clear that the B6 isn't just a leisurely cruiser, it's built to ride with traffic on the streets. The 48-volt, 15-amp-hour removable battery provides over 40 miles of range depending on your riding style, weight, and pedal assist level. And obviously, the lower the pedal assist level, the greater the range. A Shimano 7-speed derailleur is also included to give you more options for pedal power. However, because of the weight, we found keeping the B6 on 7th gear was ideal for both flat roads and inclines. A moped-style saddle paired with front and rear suspension is meant to provide comfort, but be sure to dial in the compression and preload first, as our ride felt a little too soft and bouncy.
Today we're taking a look at the Hidoes B6 fat tire electric bike. So the most striking thing about this bike is the frame. It's an interesting minimalist design, a lot of open areas here in the frame. Now it does sit higher up than most fat tire electric bikes, so that's something to think about. We'll get into it later. So now let's just walk through all the features starting from the front. Here we have 20 by 4 inch fat tires. These are the Kenda Crusades. You might recognize these from our original Super 73 Z1. These are like an all-terrain dual sport tread. Here we have the mag style rims, no spokes, integrated front fender, and then the very beefy hydraulic front suspension fork and the compression adjustment. Here we have a nice and bright integrated front headlight. We have these low rise handlebars. Here's the display controls, center mounted color LCD display, Shimano 7-speed derailleur, right hand half twist throttle, and rubber grips. Power wise, we have a 48 volt 15 amp hour battery. So this is removable, very easy to remove, and looks like there's some room if you wanted to add maybe a 52 volt. You could do that. This super long moto style saddle seat, very popular. You could probably reupholster this if you wanted to. Right under the seat is this rear suspension shock. Now this thing can be adjusted. You probably need a spanner wrench to twist this thing to get it to exactly how you want it. Here's another look at the Shimano 7-speed derailleur. And the B6 has a 1200 watt rear hub motor. This is integrated right into the rim. Here's a closer look at the hydraulic disc brakes. And I assume that the controller is hidden in here somewhere. You also have an integrated taillight with brake functionality. And if you want to register this bike as a moped, you have a license plate bracket right here. So the total weight of this bike is 111 pounds. This is not comfortable to hold whatsoever. That might be a little too much to carry up and down a flight of stairs or even to transport it for that matter. It's something you want to kind of leave in a storage facility or a garage or a shed or something like that. So now that we've gone over the features of the Hidoes B6, let's take it out for its first ride. Alright, first ride with the Hidoes B6, but before we get into it, let me show you guys how to unlock the speed limit. So first we'll turn the power on, and the display goes on. You want to hold down the plus and minus button, so you get to the P screen, P0. And basically you just change the numbers. So first number is 1, and then you hit the I button. Second number is 3. Hit the I button again. Third number is 1. I button. Last number is 3. I button. So 1 3 1 3. P1 is where you change the measurements. So I have it set to miles per hour since we're in the US. P2 is the voltage, and that's 48 volts, so we can leave it there. Again, like I said, if you want to upgrade to a different voltage, you can do that and access this screen. P3, I'm assuming, is the number of pedal assist levels, so we'll leave it there. P4 is the tire size. P5, unsure. And P6 is where you see the speed limit. So we have it set to, if we hit I, we have it set to 100 kilometers per hour, which is the max that you can do it. And that's how you unlock the full speed to get this bike to go over 30 miles per hour. All right, so now that we changed the settings, we'll set it to pedal assist level 1. Now this bike sits kind of high, so I'm definitely going to be leaning onto one side with one foot down. I am tippy-toeing, I am on one leg, and I'm sitting all the way into the front. So this might be a little bit high for shorter riders, so that's just something to think about. Other than that, I do feel like the suspension is kind of bouncy. You know, like I said, if you take a spanner wrench to the rear shock, you can adjust it so that it fits your weight. And as well as the front shock, you definitely want to adjust the preload and the compression before you get on the bike, just so that it feels a little bit more comfortable. But like, I can feel it right now that, you know, you could have to probably see the frame bouncing up and down, and it's not really supposed to feel like that. I am also comparatively a lighter rider than most. Let's put on the headlights and just get right into it. Okay, so, all right, so first thing I noticed is that the power kicks in and the bike is a little bit heavy, so you definitely feel the weight when I maneuver this thing. I could feel the weight. Pedal assist level 3 feels good. Feels like just a lot of power, you know, like this thing is definitely meant for probably riding in the streets. It's more like an electric moped. So riding this in the bike lanes is doable, but I don't know, it feels like kind of overkill. It just has like a lot of power and a lot of torque that this is probably meant for like being your main commuter vehicle in a city. And again, this is only power level 3, and I could just feel it wanting to kick in. But otherwise, I think the controller tune feels really good. It's very responsive, but it's not like a, you know, it's not like an easy, gradual response. It's kind of like, feels more like an on and off kind of thing. We'll bump this up to pedal assist level 5. Yeah, plenty of power right off the line. Go full speed, and we're hitting 30, 31, 32 miles per hour downhill. Going uphill, 25 miles per hour, going uphill. All right, let's test the brakes here. So plenty of stopping power, but like I said, the bike is kind of heavy. So the bike does weigh over 110 pounds. So when you're stopping or you're doing sort of like full speed maneuvers, it's a lot of weight to be pushing on a bike like this. So that's just something to think about. It's a pretty cool bike. It definitely feels more like a moped than some of these other sort of aluminum moped style e-bikes. You definitely feel the weight. You definitely feel the bounce of it. And I feel like, I'm not sure I could really get this dialed into my weight, but someone heavier, it might be a little bit more appropriate. I don't know if I'd want to go any faster on this. It felt like 30 was just right, but also a little bit too fast. And even like, you know, stopping, you know, like you're sort of all the weight is sort of like pushing forward. So otherwise, I think the controller tune was fine. You know, pretty standard for this kind of e-bike. I think my biggest compliment that I could give to this bike is that the frame is really unique. There really isn't a frame that looks like this, and this can easily be modded. So if you wanted to put more powerful components or different wheels, different size wheels, you could do that. But honestly, I don't know if I'd want to put anything more powerful on this kind of bike. You could do it, I just don't know if it's necessary. Or if you did, you'd probably want to change the suspension, probably like a better suspension shock, or maybe stronger forks, things like that. So definitely more like a heavy-duty electric moped than a lightweight fat tire e-bike, if that makes sense. It feels like I'm saying the same thing, but that's probably the biggest distinction that I can make between those two categories.
Front and rear hydraulic disc brakes give you the stopping power you need, ensuring a safe ride every time. However, it's worth noting that while the bike handles well, the weight and soft suspension can make you do an instant stoppie if you hit the front brake too hard. Safety features include an integrated headlight and tail light with an integrated license plate bracket, ensuring visibility day and night. The Kenda Crusade fat tires not only add to the bike's rugged look, but also provide ample traction for various terrain. So here's what we like. The B6's sleek frame design isn't just for show, it gives it a distinct moto-style quality. The power and torque makes it feel more like an electric moped than a traditional e-bike. And the suspension system, while a little soft for our taste, contributes to a smoother ride overall. But here's some things to consider. At 111 pounds, the B6's weight could pose challenges if you need to carry it around. The too soft suspension will require some adjustments for optimal performance, and the high, non-adjustable saddle could be a downside for shorter riders, impacting comfort and handling.
Overall, the Hidoes B6 has a lot of power with its moped-like performance and minimalist design. While it's not without its flaws, like the weight and soft suspension, it does offer a lot of features at an affordable price. And because the frame can easily be modded with off-the-shelf components, it could very well justify its place in your garage. So what do you think of the Hidoes B6? Does its blend of style and power excite you, or do the cons give you pause? Sound off in the comments below. As always, if you want to dive into more EV tech tips, click the links on the side, and remember to like and subscribe so we can help you find tech deals that fit your lifestyle. We'll see you guys in the next video.